Good morning. My name is Mark Swihart, and I'll be the worship associate this morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of the North Hills. Whether you have been here for a decade or more, or this is your first time visiting, we welcome you. Whatever the faith and traditions of your past, we welcome you. Whatever your theological stance, we welcome you. Whoever you are, and whomever you love, we welcome you. Whoever you are, whatever your journey has been, we welcome you. Newcomers and guests are always welcome to participate in any of our church activities. If you'd like more information about our church or Unitarian Universalism, please talk to our minister, Reverend Jane Thickstun. You can find her contact information on our website. And be sure to join us for coffee hour following the service. The Zoom link will be posted in the YouTube chat at the end of the service. We will be breaking into small groups for better conversation. For anyone who is interested, we are having a virtual Meet the Church session after the service at noon today. It's an hour when you can meet others and learn about Unitarian Universalism. The annual congregational meeting will be held next Sunday, June 14th, by Zoom. Please check your email for details, including the link for you to attend. And also, please consider attending the Unitarian Universalist Association's General Assembly, June 24th to 28th. It's easy and affordable this year because it will be online. It would be great to have at least have our full contingent of delegates from this church. If you're interested, please contact Reverend Jane Thickstun. Once again, welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of the North Hills. It's good to be together, even virtually.
Welcome, everybody. Today, we celebrate the beginning of summer with our traditional flower communion service. This ceremony was created by Dr. Norbert Capek, founder of the modern Unitarian movement in Czechoslovakia, what is now the Czech Republic. Capek had learned about Unitarianism when he was in the U.S., and he brought it back to his hometown of Prague. Many members of his congregation had left their Catholic faith to become Unitarians and wanted to give up their traditional church rituals. But Capek felt the need for some symbolic ritual that would bind people more closely together. He found inspiration in the native beauty of the countryside and came up with the flower communion. This service was held every year just before the summer recess of the church, a tradition we're following today. We're also marking life transitions today with the bridging ceremony. As children in our congregation grow up, they pass some major milestones, and the biggest is when they graduate from high school. Often after this milestone, they leave the community, and we want to be sure they leave with our blessing. So come, let us join together in the celebration of life.
Within the heart of the flower, the fountain of beauty. Within the heart of the community, a fire that warms and dances. Within the heart of each of us, a spark of the spirit of life. Holy, holy, holy.
For our hymns, we're doing something a little bit different. We used to have the people who were here to record all the parts of the service singing the hymns together, but realizing that that actually is dangerous, we are having one person lead the hymns each week. And the invitation is still there. You are to sing along. They're just leading the hymns, but this is for you to sing. So our first hymn today is For the Beauty of the Earth, one of my favorites. It's number 21 in the Gray Hymn Book, and the words will be on the screen.
For the love which from our birth over and around us lies, source of all to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of eye and ear, for the heart and mind's delight, for the mystic harmony, linking sense to sound and sight. Source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the wonder of each hour of the day and of the night, hill and vale and tree and flower, sun and moon and stars of light. Source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of human care, sister, brother, parent, child, for the kinship we all share, for all gentle thoughts and mild. Source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise.
Hi, I'm Chris Hill from the Lay Pastoral Care Team. During our service, we create this sacred space for sharing within our community. It's a time to share significant life passages with the congregation so you can be held in loving care. I'll be reading the joys and sorrows this morning, and we'll be placing a stone representing each joy or sorrow in the stand representing our congregation, supporting the sorrows and lifting up the joys. From Josh Minnick, A Sorrow. I told my bosses at the theater about my decision to not reapply for my job, and they supported my decision. It was hard, but my friends and family supported me. To Josh, we say, we hold you in our hearts. A joy from our recent ministerial search team. We would like to congratulate our team member, Lorenzo Payne, on his bridging, his graduation, and his acceptance to Penn State main campus. We are so appreciative of his immense contribution to the search and know he has a bright future ahead. To the search team and to Lorenzo, we say, we share in your joy. We now place one more stone in the sand for all the joys and sorrows that exist in our hearts but remain unspoken today. We especially think of everyone suffering directly or indirectly from this COVID-19 pandemic. Please read with me the words appearing on the screen, understanding that here includes all those watching. Let us hold in our circle of caring each person here. Let us hold in our hearts those who are unable to be with us today. Let us hold in our memories those who have moved on. Let us find comfort in knowing that we are not alone.
I invite you now to join me in a spirit of meditation or prayer. So please settle in a little more comfortably. Close your eyes if you wish. Allow your body to just relax into that sacred space you're in. And breathe in deeply, breathing out slowly. Breathe in compassion and breathe out peace. Today we celebrate our church community with a flower ceremony and a bridging ceremony. But our hearts are heavy. There is so much sadness, so much anger, so much loneliness, so much injustice, so much death and grief. In particular, our hearts are with those of a darker complexion right now, as the systems and attitudes that keep them down and unsafe are coming to public attention again. Will this be the time our voices are finally heard and something really changes? It feels like the gun issue every time a mass shooting occurs. We express our outrage, yet nothing changes. Again and again and again, we witness people in law enforcement killing Black people unnecessarily. And we march and shout and write and read articles, and yet nothing changes. May this be the time. May this be the time something changes. May this be the time we become responsible for making change happen. May it be so. Let us pause for a few moments of silent reflection.
Today, we celebrate the transitions of our youth, those who will be entering our youth group, as well as those who will be graduating and moving on. First, I would like to read the names of our sixth graders who will be joining the youth group next year. They are Millie McAdams, Francesca Payne, Kai Ruffel, Seda Ruffel, Sarah Truitt, Sophia Waddingham, and Ian Wellman. On behalf of the youth group advisors and myself, we welcome you all and celebrate you on this next part of your journey. And now for our bridging seniors. They are Anna Gongoloff, Gordon Landefeld, and Lorenzo Payne. Graduating from high school is the passage that, in many ways, leads from youth to adulthood. Unitarian Universalists celebrate this passage with what we call a bridging service. We are creating a bridge that will help them pass from childhood into adulthood. In the child dedication ceremony, we give the babies and children roses that have been stripped of their thorns. But in this ceremony, we would give our youth a rose that still had the thorns attached. We can no longer hold away the hurts and dangers of adulthood any more than we can keep these buds from opening. However, we would also give them gardening gloves. While we may not be able to protect them in the future, we hope we have given them the tools they need to protect themselves. Tools such as values to which to measure the worth of their lives. Also decision-making skills and the knowledge of how to think for themselves. A heritage of the right of conscience and the need to act on what conscience demands. And lastly, a religious community in which to test and refine the possible directions of their lives. To these youth, we call on you to stay connected to Unitarian Universalism. Let it nourish you in the years ahead. And stay connected to this community as well. People love you here. Know that as you go forth from your school days and establish lives of your own, that this community is still your community. We will support you and encourage you to pursue your ideals. We will take pride in your accomplishments, and we will be here for you when you fall. Go forth with our blessings, but return now and then.
Hi guys, my name is Lorenzo Payne. I'm graduating high school this year. I'm bridging into adulthood, and I was likely the only 4-year-old in my Sunday school class having an existential crisis over the existence of God. From a young age, I just couldn't really go along with the crowd believing what I was told. And as I matured, a combination of just disagreement with the politics and messages being preached in the pulpit, lack of faith in the Catholic God I was told about, and just kind of seeing church as this chore led me to a long-held belief that church is not for me. And it really kind of troubled me pretty significantly, as other people, like I saw them gaining community and spiritual enlightenment and like all this nourishing conversation, and all I really saw was this frustrating burden that was, worst of all, extremely boring. And it was filled with these teachings that I couldn't really recognize with my model of the world. And around 7th grade, I became a little bit more assertive about my feelings. And as it turned out, my parents were having similar struggles with the church. And so we decided to take a break from weekly mass. And during this time, my mom and I were reading about different other belief systems that seemed more kind of consistent with our own. And we read about a few, like Buddhism, humanism, a bunch of other ones, and I felt like they were all a lot closer to my evolving beliefs, but they weren't a perfect match. A lot of it was because they still had like this sense of rigidity, and I wanted this church community where I didn't have to have all the answers, and other people didn't have to have all the answers, and we could like agree and talk about that. And I could like feel comfortable growing, being myself, and kind of exploring this weird idea of faith in a way that didn't kind of disregard science and my kind of model of how the world worked. And after nearly giving up, we tried this Unitarian Universalist Church of the North Hills, and didn't know a ton about it going in, but we found this, as y'all state in your mission statement, this loving religious community nourishes spirit, celebrates life, and cherishes the connectedness of all things. And I wasn't really quite sure about that last part, but I ended up kind of interpreting it as just kind of like acknowledgement that we're part of this same world, like this same kind of interacting system. And it was amazing for me, especially since prior to this, my only experience had been Catholic Mass. One week we'd discuss the ideas of Buddhism, the next would be Christianity, and the next, the evolutionary history of consciousness, and then the next we'll play volleyball in the sanctuary. Our minister gave one kick-ass sermon after the next, and if that week's topic didn't really seem interesting to me, it wasn't a sin not to go. And, since then I've joined youth group. I was the co-chair this year. I've gone to cons, Summer Institute. I've been on the SI Youth panel. I did chaplain training and served as a peer chaplain for different youth events. And most influentially, I was on search committee, which really gave me an appreciation for how this church works and this amazing community. And it was a really great experience. And yeah, by challenging the messages of my original church, I was able to find this welcoming, loving, liberal spiritual community that worked for me. But I also really needed to challenge my own limiting belief that I just couldn't find what I needed in a church, that church wasn't for me. And 13 or so odd years later, I'm mostly existential crisis free, for now at least.
The significance of the flower ceremony is that just as no two flowers are alike, so no two people are alike, yet each has a contribution to make. Together, the different flowers form a beautiful bouquet. Our common bouquet would not be the same without the unique addition of each individual flower. Likewise, our church community would not be the same without each and every one of us. The unique beauty each of us adds to the community. This service is a celebration of the diversity and the beauty of our congregational community. By bringing a flower in the traditional ceremony, we show our willingness to be present, to contribute our unique beauty to the community. And by taking away a different flower at the end of the service, we show our willingness to accept the gifts that others bring, a willingness to receive as well as to give, to be nurtured as well as to nurture. The bouquet itself is a symbol of our joint willingness to walk together in our search for truth and meaning, finding beauty even in our differences, or especially in our differences. We have a beautiful bouquet here today, And just imagine all these different beautiful flowers, a different one of you. But we have a special treat. Our ceremony is a little different this year because of the shutdown. So we each are bringing our flowers virtually. And we'll be able to see each other bringing our flowers as we would if we were all together in person, because we've got photos. So we haven't seen each other in so long. It will be a joy to see all those faces. We won't be bringing away a flower like we would normally. So I invite you to take away the memories of all these people and the flowers you will see. The flower ceremony. Please join me in singing our second hymn, The Sweet June Days. If you have a gray hymnal, it's number 65. The words will be on the screen.
The sweet June days are come again, once more the glad earth yields its golden wealth of ripening grain and breath of clover fields, and evening shade of summer woods and glow of summer air, and winging thoughts and happy moods of love and joy and prayer. The sweet June days are come again, the birds are on the wing, bright anthems in their merry strain, unconsciously they sing. Oh, how a couple brims with good these happy summer days, for all the
We know that our financial contributions to this congregation come from the sacrifice and hard work of all of us. We are so grateful for this, and we commit together to ensure that the funds we gather collectively do a greater good for ourselves and our world than they could have made on their own. Today's offering will be shared with Proud Haven. Proud Haven is a local Pittsburgh organization whose mission is to provide a safe shelter for LGBTQIA+ youth experiencing homelessness in Pittsburgh, as well as providing other services for those youth. To learn more, please see your recent Intercom e-news, or you can Google Proud Haven. To make a contribution to Proud Haven, please go to the church's website's donation page and select Special Offerings in order to make a Share the Plate donation. Include the words Share the Plate or Proud Haven when making the donation. Alternately, you can mail a check to the church office by May 22nd with Share the Plate or Proud Haven in the memo line. May we give today in love and hope. please join with me in saying the dedication of our offering displayed on your screen. May these gifts and the work of our hands and hearts give power to all we stand for as a community of faith.
In closing, I share with you Dr. Capek's Flower Communion prayer. In the name of Providence, which implants in the seed the future of the tree, and in our hearts the longing for people to live in harmony. In the name of the highest in whom we move and who makes the mother and father, the brother and sister, the lover and loner, what they are. In the name of sages and great religious leaders who sacrifice their lives to hasten the coming of peace and justice. Let us renew our resolution sincerely to be real siblings, regardless of any kind of bar which estranges us from each other. In this holy resolve, may we be strengthened, knowing that we are one family, that one spirit, the spirit of life and love unites us, and may we endeavor for a more perfect and more joyful life. Amen.